Kris, let's start with the beginning part of the interview about the game tonight, where Philippe Clement said that that's one of their better performances this season. Do you agree with that? And is that something the fans will agree with?
No.
I'd like to hear.
No. Again, it's just excuses. I think the longer the interview went on, the more excuses were coming out. Listen, it's clear to see, you can go on about toenails and whatever you want to speak about. The result's all that matters. Find a way to win the game. Failed to do that. You've lost, what's that now, 3 of your opening 10. Drew one of them as well. It's no good enough. And you speak about improvement. I don't see it. I touched on it there. Aberdeen have recruited or built this squad far better than what it was last season, with under £2 million, and lost their best player. Rangers have spent an absolute fortune, and they are worse in every position. They've downgraded in every single position. And this whole thing of kicking the can down the street, we were told 2 or 3 months ago that Rangers would be 200% better come October, November. Oh.
It's not embarrassing it is embarrassing from Big Phil, but it's more delusion. I mean, what was he talking about?
If I'm a Rangers supporter there, that's probably the most worrying thing I've seen today.
I think even the Rangers fans with blue tinted glasses on can see through this now. This ain't working. It's no. It seems you can understand if there's players getting better, and let's look at the improvement. Aberdeen deserve to win tonight. Hearts 0-0 at the start of the season. Kilmarnock deserve to win against Rangers as well. The budgets are absolutely nowhere near Rangers. Even if you're downgrading and you're cutting back, it's a will and determination to go and win a game of football. And Rangers are severely lacking in that department right now.
The question is, Kris, is do you trust him? Is some of his behaviour and stuff he said all season has been erratic, like getting the bunting out for beating Ross County 6-0, going back to Ibrox after they had the pants pulled down by Celtic and saying, well, we had as many shots on target as Celtic.
It's the same again today.
Doing the can in press conferences, and then you have to listen to that, and he's talking about the next transfer window. For God's sake, would you really trust him to sign anybody decent in January? And that's the long and the short of it. But you know what? The biggest failing was, why on earth did Rangers let this guy sign a new contract on the eve of the season? That was bonkers. That was madness. He then has all the power. He's had all the control over the recruitment. You make a point about the recruitment, a fair point. They aren't better with his recruitment, so why would you trust him? I think
that the new contract, I said at the time, was all a perception, because everybody was against Rangers and we're backing our manager. This is the way we're going to go. I don't think anything's changed behind the scenes. If it's easy saying, he signed another year. The termination clause will still be the same. We all know how they work. That's exactly the same. It just looks better. We've got the manager's got a new contract. We're all together. There must, for me anyway, Philippe Clement he's the man who's going to have to front up right now. I'm going to ask, Ross Wilson got a lot of stick for his recruitment. What is Niles Coppin doing as well? I mean, for me, he was a scout at PSV, a scout, and now he's heading up one of the biggest clubs in Europe under pressure to get players in. A scout, and now he's doing that. And as I said, for me, there is nothing to suggest that even Rangers going to this next transfer window is going to bring in better players, because the recruitment from the football club for a number of years now is absolutely miles off it. Blame, in terms of the budget, blame cuts back what all you want. There is still money being spent. Diamondi cost over £4 million. Jefte, £1 million. Cortez, they need to buy, who we've hardly seen. Egeman, £1.7 million. Project, that one was. Proper, 1.5. Bajrami, 3.4. The list goes on. There is no way this can continue at Rangers, and somebody needs to get a grip of it.
OK, but you say get a grip. What needs to happen then? In your opinion,
Chris, we know how football
goes. Well,
yeah. I mean, that's that for me. Yes, now it does, because I think there is no. You can always, if there's progression, you could cut him some slack and say, but it's okay. There's players coming in, like he keeps talking about. There's players. It's a new group. 8 of the 11 were already at the football club before he arrived. That's no progression. That's not progression.
Listen, we've had this conversation before, but if you keep going on this cycle of removing managers, a new manager comes in, he's got the players that the previous manager had, and they're stuck with that squad. I mean, we've seen it at a number of clubs. At Aberdeen, you were critical of the way that Aberdeen got new managers in and never brought that cycle. Yes, they found Jimmy Talleen and it's working now. Is that what you're suggesting Rangers need to do is just keep going until they maybe find.
Well, what's Aberdeen done?
The right one.
Aberdeen have kept going and going and going till they've got the right one. They've got the right one now. And by the way, they might be lucky if they keep a hold of him for a period of time, because the way that Aberdeen's going right now, there's going to be big teams looking at him. You take Rangers. Go back to Rangers. Sorry, it's easy to say, "Oh, there's no money there." The crowd will tell you. The crowds are down at Ibrox. Be interested to see how many turn up at Hampden. And once that starts to dwindle away, then all of a sudden the club's losing money as well, because the fans don't want to turn out. The fans are key in everything here, because once they get fed up and bored of watching this style of play, or lack of style of play, then that's it. We said it under Michael Beale, we said it under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Once the fans turn, and believe me, having spoken to a few of them, they have turned. Even the ones with the blue-tinted glasses on can see right through what is going on right now. And as I said, it's easy in interviews to go and kick the can down and say, "Oh, we'll get better, we'll get better, we'll get..." There is nothing to suggest that it's going to get better to give them longer.
They are a rotten watch. I mean, all season. But they have been. I mean, let's get it right. Even the games they've won. I mean, you think the St Mirren should have had a penalty. You know, they've got over the line against. You can't kid fans. You get to a point, but I just think that they went in so deep with Philippe Clement. This is where the problem lies.
I think he's seen a gap there as well, because he's then realised there's nobody above me to question me. I'm going to drive this. Niles Coppin, as I'll mention his name again, because he can't be totally immune to criticism here, because this is on him as well, the two of them. The recruitment has been diabolical. Once again.
Ultimately, Philippe Clement is the man who has to try and turn this around. It's a massive week. They've got the League Cup semi-final to come on Sunday. They've got Olympiacos away on Thursday. It's a huge week for him, and it started really badly here tonight. Is there a way, in your experience of clubs that you've maybe been at, when things have gone a little bit bad and they're struggling, how do you turn it around? Is there a way, or when it gets to a certain stage, is there no going back?
It's really difficult for him now. I mentioned it before the game about him digging out a couple of individuals after a game. And when you start doing that with senior players, you need to win the next few games. Now, it'd be interesting to see what the lads are talking about amongst themselves, and whether they are still backing the manager. That first half performance, Aberdeen just dominated them all over the park. And that, for me, spoke volumes.
And one other thing, and I said that at the top of the show as well, sports science won't get sacked. Sports science won't get sacked. A new manager might come in and find them out, but sports science might get Philippe Clement the sack, because I said it a couple of weeks ago in terms of listening to these guys. They don't care about anything else other than as long as they're all right. You look at Philippe Clement and his decisions tonight. Jeffrey can't play because of, we need to protect him, but then he brings him on. If you need to protect somebody, you don't bring him on.
Takes Barami off, and he looked the biggest threat in the second half. I mean,
he's just waffling through interviews.
You said that this was, here are the fixtures coming up for Rangers as well, but you said this was the biggest game of his tenure at Rangers, and he's come away with nothing. So what do you expect to happen next?
I expect Rangers fans to be very, very angry, and they're probably lucky that the bus is going to arrive back really late at Ibrox this evening, but there may still be fans hanging around. I've said before, after the Celtic game, there were fans hanging around there. When that really grows into 1,000, 2,000, the Rangers fans will be enraged. I mean, not only are they being embarrassed by Celtic this season, Aberdeen, they hate Aberdeen. They're embarrassing them this season. That's the truth. For you smile, but that's the long and the short of it. It's about having high standards. But what's more baffling to me is he just keeps having these mad rants this season. I don't think you can trust this guy. So I think Rangers need to make the change, and they need to make it as soon as possible and have a new voice in. But as I say, I don't think it's easy, because they sort of let him get his own way at the start of the season, whether that's the right wording or not. But he should never have signed a new contract at the start of the season. That was.
I don't think the contract makes a difference. So I said to you, it does. It doesn't, because there's no way that any manager's getting the full contract unless you're Jose Mourinho. It's never going to affect his payoff. What his payoff was with 2 years or 3 years or 4 years remains the same. That's common knowledge. That's common knowledge. I've had a few payoffs.